I'm Joe Reel.
And I'm Peter Gill.
And this is Two Men Talking Movies.
Say what again? Say what again?
I'm sorry, David. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Get off my plane.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Good day, sir. You ever dance with the devil in the pit? I am your father.
Please, we can kill it.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Two men talking
Movies.
Magic.
Welcome to episode 2 of Two Men Talking Movies. This is your host, Joe Reel,
And I'm Peter Gill.
the other host. I hope everyone had a great last 2 weeks and enjoyed our first episode that we released. I know it was
Major hit.
major. Yep. We had phone ringing off the hook.
Had a kid ask me for an autograph.
Oh, yeah.
I was not expecting the amount of stardom.
I wasn't expecting to be making millions already, but, you know, stuff happens. So,
Right.
what can you say? So, Peter, what have you been up to these last 2 weeks since we recorded?
Besides dealing with all the fame after our first episode, a lot of working with the church, a lot of work stuff, what I do. For my
So
daily job.
you did join that cult that you were telling me about?
Oh, no.
Not that church. Okay.
No. It's pretty busy at work.
Yeah. Sounds like a pretty exciting week. My week was pretty much the same old stuff. Getting all this together for the podcast has been a lot more testing on me than I really thought it would be, but that's okay. I think it's just because it's the first episode. We had to get social media up, artwork up, and I think we're still working on artwork. I'm possibly going to change our artwork. I know we haven't talked about that, but I've been getting pretty good. I was telling you earlier with
Joe, it took me like 5 minutes to find that stuff.
I know.
And you want to change it already.
I'm so sorry. But I have been getting really good with, I think at least pretty good for somebody new with Photoshop.
Just pat yourself on the back.
I've been doing that all day. And yeah, so also what I've been doing this week too. Can I plug my other podcast? Is that okay? Or
We need to review this offline.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, so I'm starting another podcast. Peter, we talked about this. I told you I was going to do this, and I'm doing.
Yeah, you're cheating on me.
I'm not cheating on you. I'm expanding. I'm just testing out the waters.
Sure.
As the kids say these days, kicking the tires on the truck.
No, I don't think any kids say that.
Okay. And yeah, so I'm starting a new podcast. It should be up by the time you're hearing this. It should be up, and it's called The Creative Mind. If you guys like hearing interviews or people just talking about creativity and music and filmmaking, writing, pretty much any creative outlet, that's one of the things I'm going to be tackling. And this first week of this first episode, I'm doing an interview with a band called On The Go, who I absolutely love. One of my favorite bands of all time, and I was shocked that they agreed to do an interview with me.
Easy, Joe. You're getting pretty emotional.
I am. It's been a lot of work. I've actually, last night I was up till
10:30?
No, almost 3 o'clock
Okay.
in the morning. Editing and working on stuff. So it's a lot of work doing both of these, but I think once we get them both going, they'll be good. So go, if you guys don't mind, go check out that. You can look at facebook.com/The Creative Mind, or go to Twitter and you can follow me at TCM Pod.
So are we going to be charging The Creative Mind for some of this ad space?
No, I'm going to be plugging our podcast on there. So it's an even distribution.
Okay.
So we're going to roll straight into this show. We got some great feedback from friends, family, strangers, and we're going to add some new sections to the podcast, some new hot topics, hot minutes, fast and furious.
Yeah, the first section we're going to cover is what we call trailer trash.
Trailer trash. And Peter, I hope you're not referring to me.
No. I'm pretty sure I was born in a trailer. So
Yeah, I lived in a trailer too for a while. And
Yeah. Standard.
Love them.
So trailer trash is where we're going to probably hit anywhere from 3 to 5 movies every week that have just released their trailer or teasers or even teasers for the teasers because that is what the film industry is doing now because it's just a marketing machine. So first one I want to talk about, which I really thought looked, I know I say this about, I've said this about a couple different Marvel
Hit me
movies.
with it, Peter. I'm ready.
Doctor Strange seems like a Marvel / Inception crossover by that trailer.
Doctor Strange is a Marvel movie? I thought this was like a new doctor movie, medical thing of a guy who is strange but quirky, but people still like him. And he's really looking for love, but will he find it? We don't know.
No.
Not that movie. Okay.
No, I think you're referring to an old Eddie Murphy movie.
Okay.
I forget what that was. But no. This is a looks like Benedict Cumberbatch is playing Doctor Strange, and he has something crazy happen in his life, and he goes from just a normal surgeon to this crime-fighting, evil combatant, powerful Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it really looks good.
And I'm a pretty big critic when it comes to the right type of trailers. I don't want them to give away too much, but I want them to intrigue me just enough. I want to know nothing about the storyline, but still know that I want to go see the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. The only thing I fear about this movie from watching the trailer is that people who don't know anything about Doctor Strange are just going to be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, but I feel like...
Because there was no... I mean, it looked awesome. Don't get me wrong. It actually reminded me a lot, too, of like a mix between Matrix with like the whole training thing they were showing where he's, in the room getting kicked around. And also of Inception with like the buildings folding over.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks really cool. It looks like a total, like, you're tripping on something when you're watching it. You're like, what is going on? But...
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. But I think the audience is going to recognize Benedict Cumberbatch, and I think they're going to want to come see the movie.
Oh, of course.
He's
Love
the man. He is the man.
Cumberbatch.
I didn't know. We just looked his profile up on IMDb. We didn't know he was 6 foot. So, ladies, he is not 6'4", or gentlemen, he's not 6'4". He's 6 foot and a half.
6 foot and a half.
Perfect. So the next trailer that we saw come out, which has a lot of buzz because it took home the most money a Sundance film has ever taken when it was bought by, I believe, Fox for their distribution rights this October, was Birth of a Nation. And that is a movie about Nat Turner's rebellion in Southampton, Virginia, which is not too far from here.
Ooh.
Back in the early 1800s. I think it was 1800 or something like that. So really, really looking forward to this movie just because both Joe and I are from Virginia and the director is from Hampton Roads, Nate Parker.
And about that director, Peter, what is this story that you have about this director? Because this is a pretty cool story.
Well, I mean, I know who Nate Parker is.
Peter knows Nate Parker.
Well, kind of. I stayed at a house for about a month when I came home from college, and my buddy, his cousin, is Nate Parker, and Nate was staying there at the house while we were all there for Christmas. We all got snowed in for like 3 or 4 days. I think it was back in 2010 or 2011 when we were there, and Nate's a really cool guy. He probably doesn't remember who I am. I'm just probably the only white guy that stayed with him during that Christmas time. But it was really cool. We had a lot of fun, and he had a lot of great stories to tell about some of the stuff he's seen. But I've been following his career for a while. I really liked him in Arbitrage, saw Red Tails. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a fanboy with Nate Parker.
Yeah, this was Peter every morning when he was staying with Nate. Hey, Nate, what do you think about that Game of Thrones?
I don't even think Game of Thrones was out back then. So, yeah, Nate, I didn't really know how big time Nate was when I was staying there. I just knew he was kind of like he was in the film
I
industry.
mean, didn't you get a hint when you saw George Clooney coming in and out of the house? Were you like, what is going on?
No, I got it. Really, when I got a hint was when he referred to Denzel Washington as Denzel.
Ooh, Denzel.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie
Sounds
because
like
it's
Strange.
the title of the
Doctor
movie.
Strange.
The title of the movie is a play on a very racist film called Birth of a Nation. I think it was made back in the 1930s.
Yeah, is that like a documentary or something? Because
Look, man, I don't really know what that movie's about. I just know it's a completely racist film. I also know it had a lot of technological advancements for the time it was made.
yeah.
But I just know it was basically idolizing the KKK and all that mess. So
This was put out. That was put out by Disney then.
probably Warner Brothers or something.
Okay.
But no, I'm really looking forward to this movie. It ought to be really good, and it comes out in October. I wish it was coming out sooner.
Yeah. So October this year, right?
Yes, October this
Yeah,
year.
and I did. The
2016.
trailer looked great. It was very chilling. Some of the scenes. There's one part where you see this little girl playing, and she's like running out of the house, and she's holding a rope. And as she comes around the corner, she's pulling on another little African American girl, like a dog. Like it's like a collar on the girl. It's really disturbing.
It sets the emotion for the film.
Yeah, I don't think he held back anything in this movie. He's like basically.
I'm hoping he didn't because
Yeah.
the original Birth of a Nation didn't hold anything back either.
Yeah.
And I believe the original Birth of a Nation was actually shown in the White House. So maybe President Obama can come through and show this movie in the White House as well.
Ooh, nice, yeah.
So next up, we got Godzilla's Resurgence, and I'm going to let Joe take over here. This is his input.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Godzilla fan.
Yeah, so
Tell us about this.
Okay, so I just made Peter watch this trailer, and I actually didn't even know this was coming out. We were looking through trailers, and I saw this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And we watched it, and I was very pleased with it. So from what I understand, the last Godzilla movie that came out that was American made, basically everybody in Japan talked trash about it. They thought that Godzilla was big and fat and looked goofy, and it wasn't done good. And so
Done well. Gotcha.
So done well.
Sorry
Done
to
well.
mess up your flow.
Done well. Done well. Okay. Yeah, so they're putting this movie out, and it's basically saying this is what the American Godzilla should have been. And it looks serious from the movie. It doesn't look like the old Godzilla movies where it's a man in a suit running around and you have his son, who's like Godzilla Barney. It doesn't look cheesy at all like any of those old Godzilla movies. Not that those are terrible, but they're definitely have aged very badly. And so yeah, this movie looks great. Godzilla looks pretty good, pretty decent.
I did like that they had the lava in him. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He was all burnt up looking, and the city looked good too. They did like a shot of Godzilla walking through the city, and it wasn't the little cardboard box houses and cheap firework explosions as a man in a suit's walking through a set. So it looks good, and from what I understand from the trailer, it's going to be coming out in July. I think July 29th.
Hopefully he stumbles upon a stadium where there's nothing but Godzilla eggs.
Yeah. That movie was actually awesome. I don't care what people say. All right, so the next trailer.
Jason Bourne is making a reappearance after a time off. And what's the name of the movie?
It's just called Jason Bourne.
Oh, well, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
So looks like your average Bourne Identity type movie. I really liked all the original Bourne movies because when I say originals, I'm talking about the ones with Matt Damon in it. Because they were like a realistic James Bond American version of spy films, and it just took a little bit of a different twist. So I'm looking forward to this movie, see what Matt Damon, I'm sure there's going to be some type of political narrative in these movies because Matt Damon's always got something to say, which is fine. He can say whatever he wants to. He's an actor. So looking forward to this movie to see what kind of the undertone of the movie is. It looks like he remembers some things, and So
Yeah, it looks good. It's a teaser, so it wasn't a really full trailer. They didn't give a date at the end, and I kind of fell off the Bourne series a while ago, but this looks interesting, so it might get me back into it. And the last trailer we have,
boom,
drum
boom,
roll.
boom. Rogue One. I'm very, very excited about this movie. December is turning into, instead of Christmas month, it's Star Wars month. And one of the reasons I'm really looking forward to this movie is because it's going to tell us a little bit about what happened in between those years, between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So this movie looks like it's going to tell us the story of some of the plans being stolen in order to find the holes in the Death Star. This is the first Death Star. I know a lot of people are asking where all the Bothans are, which Mon Mothma is a Bothan, but this is not necessarily a Bothan spy movie for those fans looking for the Bothans. So one of the things I liked about this trailer was that alarm that started playing probably halfway through the movie. And I was really, really digging the alarm, the AT-AT attacks, and also I think we're probably going to see maybe a Darth Vader cameo in this movie. So definitely looking forward to this movie. Really excited about it. I know some of the critiques are people saying, oh, great, we're getting another female lead rebellious role here. And it's classic Disney. But I'm definitely okay with female lead roles. I'm not sure why everyone's so critical about there being another female role, but I think men have pretty much taken the stage over the past, 100 years of film maybe. So I think they're okay making another movie with a female lead for Star Wars. I'm definitely okay with that. And also, for those people out there, this may be an introduction to who Rey's mother is. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. That's really good. And it does look exciting. I got chills watching the trailer. Looks better than The Force Awakens. Not that The Force Awakens was bad, but this looks really, really good. So
Yeah, this looks a little bit more edgy.
yeah, more edgy. Strange. Doctor Strange. So we also have another segment that we are adding. This segment is called Real Time. Yeah, real time. Do you like that?
Yeah, you just made that up.
Actually, I didn't. I was thinking about this earlier. So real
By
time.
earlier, you mean like 5 minutes ago?
Yes. So real time is a play on my name because I'm Joe Reel, Reel, and it's a play on the name of a film reel. And time is a play on news. Real time. So real time, this segment, we're just going to talk about different news articles, announcements, things that are happening in the filmmaking industry, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this segment because it lets us talk a little bit outside the box.
Yes. So I actually have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have 4 segments I'm going to talk about. 4 stories.
I had 5.
Yeah. Well,
I did more homework.
yeah. Well, this is my segment. So, so for our first story, Channing Tatum has reportedly signed to the new Kingsman movie. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, for some reason,
Real quick, did you watch the first Kingsman?
Yes, I rented it and was kicking myself for not going and seeing it in theaters.
I never saw it.
What?
Yeah.
You need to go.
I heard it. It looked cool. It looked really cool. I just never got around to seeing it.
It was a very fun, unrealistic spy movie that I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was, and kind of looking forward to the second one. Hopefully, they can capture some of the magic they had in the first movie. But Channing Tatum is one of those people where I think I'm going to hate every movie he's in. But
Except for Magic Mike.
well,
That was
I never saw that movie.
that movie made history.
But I've somehow end up liking most of the movies he's in, except for maybe G.I. Joe. I didn't really care for G.I. Joe. But anyways, I'm interested to see what he does in this film. He could be pretty funny from what I've seen in 21 Jump Street. So I'm looking forward to his role in this movie, whatever that may be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I need to watch the first Kingsman, but yeah, I think it's gonna be good. The next story, this one I thought was awesome that they had a backlash about it, but AMC basically this past week they made an announcement that they were talking about considering the idea of letting people text in theaters, I don't know why. Well, I don't know why you would even come up with that idea. Like, what was their end game of that? I don't know. What their next announcement was going to be? Hey, you know what? I think it'd be a good idea if we let our guest film the movie.
Right.
Yeah. So
Maybe
I don't know.
put it
You know,
on
just
Vine. Who
yeah,
knows?
just ruin the whole experience. Because there's nothing I love more than going to a movie and having someone's bright screen and phone going off and hearing them laugh about what they just read on Facebook. But so, anyways, so what happened was basically everyone dug into AMC and was like, "This is ridiculous. We're not going to go to your theaters if you do this." And pretty much the next day, right?
Yeah.
AMC was like, "Never mind about that."
Yeah, we were just talking about it. It got passed along in the hallways and the bathroom stalls
Yeah, it
or
was
something.
miscommunication.
And so we're no longer going to do this, which I'm glad they did that. I'm very glad they did that.
Yeah. The third story we have, and this has to do with the movie that we're actually reviewing today, is that Jungle Book. I guess there's going to be a sequel to Jungle Book, right?
No, so what this is about is Jungle Book changed their name because there's a Jungle Book that's going to be released in 2018 by, I believe it's Warner Brothers, and it was originally called The Jungle Book, The Origin Story. Now it's just called The Jungle Book. So Andy Serkis is playing in it as well as Benedict Cumberbatch, and I'm sure most people know Serkis from Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. What else has he been in? He's been in a ton of different stuff.
Yeah, it does a ton of motion cap with his.
He does a great job,
Yeah,
obviously.
great voiceover. He's done a ton of things that people haven't even realized. He was in 13 Going on 30 as like her friend.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So anyways, he's in that upcoming film. So apparently The Jungle Book is, I guess, a story that everyone wants to tell. I think I know why everyone wants to tell The Jungle Book, but
Weird. So this is it's the same story of the Jungle Book. It's not just like
right.
It's not the whole Avatar situation where he was going to put a movie out that had nothing to do with The Last Airbender, but he just named it Avatar, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. So the last piece of news we have is a story that came out about a week and a half ago, and then it just surfaced again that they're changing what the original story was. Michael Keaton was reportedly supposed to be playing, or was looking at playing a villain in the new Spider-Man movie coming out. And it was just released that he is now not being pursued for that role. And there had been some rumors before that people were talking about bringing Vulture as a possible villain for the movie, which I was wondering, did they see his performance in Birdman? Which, it sounds goofy, but did they see his performance in Birdman in like a bird costume and think, hey, he might be a good role for Vulture?
Yeah, I don't know who Vulture is.
Yeah, Vulture's. I honestly think he's a kind of a cheesy character, and I don't know why they want to put him in the movie. But Vulture is a character. It's an old man, and he flies around in the suit he made, and he'll touch people and consume their youth. And he gets younger, and then they take on age. But it's not a lasting result, so he has to keep going after people.
Sounds like an X-File.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's Monster of the Week more than a movie. I don't know. It'd be really great as a 2-hour movie. So that's it for real time. Thank you. Yeah. So now we have one more segment that we're going to add right before we get to the review. Do you know what this is, Peter?
It probably has to do with people asking us questions so we can answer them.
Good job. Awesome. Yeah. So I plugged on Facebook and probably Twitter last week, did we?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, about emailing us questions about our announced review that we're doing, which is The Jungle Book. And we had a couple responses. It really wasn't a lot, but we had 3. So I'm going to read those. And for anyone who wants to ask a question that we'll read out and we'll name you on the podcast, you can email us a question at 2
We're going to name them? We'll do that?
Well, whatever name they gave me. I'm not going to give their address or anything, but yeah, give them a shout out.
Yeah, their name, driver's license number.
Yeah, social. So, yeah, you can email us at 2mentalkingmovies@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just put question. And we'll read your question. And so for the first question, I have for this week is from
I haven't seen these yet, by the way. So,
Yeah.
just so you guys know, I haven't seen these yet.
Yeah. So the first question comes from Jane Parker. We're getting a lot of Parkers today. Nate Parker, Jane Parker. Very funny. Do you think they're related?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. So Jane asks, she says, Peter and Joe, I loved episode 1. You guys are reviewing Jungle Book this week. My question is the whole movie shot in CGI? Jane, no. The whole movie is not shot in CGI. Majority of it is, but there is some. I mean, from watching the movie, could you tell if it was like? So, I don't like movies with a lot of CGI in it, but this movie, it'll go to show you how good the CGI was because there's a couple parts where I don't know if it's CGI or real.
Yeah. I got that. I got that same feeling a few different times.
Yeah. I mean, of course, all the animals are CGI, and a lot of what you see in the environment CGI. I think they did use some real sets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, the little boy is not CGI. But yeah, Jane. So you didn't put anything about whether you like CGI or not. That's fine. But I'm assuming you don't because you asked
Jane.
the question.
Please be more specific.
Yeah, that's okay. But yes, so there was a lot of CGI. The whole movie shot, no, but honestly, majority of it was. So whether you liked it or not, it was still good. It looked good.
75% probably was CGI.
Yeah. So thanks, Jane.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ms.
All right.
Parker.
So the next email comes from Ben Ryder, and Ben said,
Benny Boy.
What'd you say?
Benny Boy.
Oh, Benny. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and Ben says, hey guys, quick question about the Jungle Book. Thinking about taking my children to see it. However, I don't know if it's going to be violent or not. What's your take?
My take?
Yeah, what did you think?
There was some mild, dramatic, violent episodes, but I would take my children to see this movie for sure.
Yeah, I would too. We'll get into it in a minute, but there was a couple things that if your kids don't really understand death, they're probably going to have some questions about.
I don't think anyone's going to come out of this movie asking their kids about death.
Not asking their kids, but their kids might walk.
I mean,
The father's going to say, Tommy?
What do you think about death?
Yeah.
No. I don't think any kid's going to come out of this saying, where did the wolf go?
Dude, you would be surprised at what kids consume and like what you would think they'd overlook, and then they pop a question about the next time you're like eating breakfast randomly.
I don't know these things. I don't have
Well,
children.
I do because I have 2 cats and a dog. So, so yeah, Ben.
Take your children. Don't be too worried about
Yeah,
it.
take them. We'll get into detail. Just keep listening to the podcast on this episode, and we'll get into detail more about what's going on. Really, what it is there's a death scene of one of the characters, and they show. I mean, it was kind of shocking. I don't know. It wasn't really violent, or I mean, there's no gore. You don't have to worry about gore or anything.
not
This
like
isn't that
Walking
movie.
Dead or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. So thanks, Ben. All right, and so the last email comes from Jake. I think it says Manlish. Jake Man. I'm sorry, Jake. I don't know how to say your last name, so please forgive me. So I'm just gonna call you Jake. So Jake, your question is, hey guys, I love the fact that you guys are reviewing movies in an interesting way. I don't know if we're really interesting, but thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, in an interesting way. I was wondering, will you guys ever review any movies that have already been out of theaters? I don't know. We haven't really talked about this.
I mean, I don't mind doing it. I think we'll probably do something maybe in a written format.
Yeah, definitely. We have talked about that. So there is a website coming that Peter is heading up, and he's going to design it, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, the website will be coming. I have some interesting ideas. I know how things have been done wrong, and I've looked at a lot of things that have been done correctly. So we'll see what our website looks like. But on there, we'll probably have a blog section where we will review movies that we've seen that we want to talk about or that we want to give some type of special notice to that maybe aren't in theaters, or maybe we did see it in theaters, but it wasn't. It was a low key movie that was released.
Yeah, as long as I get to talk about Anna Green Gables, you know. We definitely want to do a long form review of those.
Or maybe Veggie Tales.
Yeah, so all right, thanks guys. So that was our questions segment. What are we gonna name that?
TM squared.
TM squared? Question mark? Or how about two men answering questions?
How about MAQ? MAQ. Men answering questions, frequently asked questions. Kind of play on that.
Two men answering questions. Let's do that.
Okay.
Plays on our name. So two men answering questions. You just heard us decide right there. Two men answering questions. Thank you. So thank you, Jake. Thank you the other two people for the emails.
Jake, Ben,
and Jane. Jake, Ben, and Jane.
Yep. There you go.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
And remember, you can email us too and have your name and you can email us too and have your question read at twomentalkingmovies@gmail.com. So please send us some questions. We love talking to you guys, even though we don't get to do it in person. But we love hearing from everybody, from listeners.
Yeah, it's so hard talking to all my fans at once. This is the easiest mode for us to do it.
Yeah. So. All right, so we're going to get into the review, but right before we do, let's take a quick break.
I must break you.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. Peter.
Dang it, Joe. What do you want?
What are you doing?
I'm watching a video on YouTube. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get you ready so we can go record this podcast.
Well, let me just finish up this video. It's this channel I've subscribed to in the past couple of weeks called Bookables. She reviews all these books, so that way when I buy a book, I know that I'm not going to hate it and end up not reading past chapter 2. Don't you hate when you have that problem?
Yeah, but I didn't know that you could read.
Well, for your information, I'm listening to it on Audible.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so all you have to do is go to youtube.com, search Bookables.
And hit subscribe, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So this is run by Heather Davis. And yeah, she does a great job. I love her stuff. And I'm glad that you're actually looking at it, Peter, because, I was worried when I saw you reading Jack and Jill Go Up the Hill.
It's called reading. Top to bottom, left to right. Group words together as a sentence. Take Tylenol for any headaches. Midol for any cramps.
All right. So, are you ready to talk about this movie, Peter?
Yes.
Awesome. So this past week, we got to see The Jungle Book.
Yeah, we did. It was quite the ordeal. We were pretty rushed. We both showed up late. Then we realized the movie we were showing up to was 3D, and neither one of us like watching movies in 3D.
Well, I actually like it, but I'm willing to sacrifice because it's not that big of a deal to me. It's not a selling point of a movie, but,
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of 3D, especially that night because I was wearing glasses, and so I would have had to stick 3D glasses over my glasses, and so we just waited to 8 o'clock, which is fine because we were already late for 7:30, so we were right on time for the 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so it worked out, and it was cool. And your wife got to tag along.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited about that. I don't know how excited she was for the movie, but she managed.
She looked thrilled, especially when I looked over and saw her sleeping.
No, she was thrilled when I brought her free drink
okay.
and Reese Pieces.
Just joking. She wasn't sleeping. She loved it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So the movie was pretty good. I would say On our 1 to 10 scale, I guess a 6.
Yeah, I would give it a 5.
Yeah. So, and just to let y'all know from our 1 to 10 scale, a 5 is not bad.
Yeah,
a
5's not
a
bad.
5 is okay. A 5 is in the middle. Anything below a 5, you might want to reconsider. But anything 5 and above, it's a decent movie. So you say 5, I say 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably pretty reasonable.
I do too. Yeah, my 6 is very gracious, but it was what it was. I had no idea what to expect going into it. I was totally lost. Saw the trailer. I didn't even want to see this movie actually until like a week before, and I actually saw a full. Well, it wasn't even a trailer. It was a cut that they were airing on TV of one of the scenes, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to go see this movie because of how the trailers made this movie look, and the fact that I think I've always liked Jungle Book. I've liked the cartoon, all the songs.
Yeah, your tidy whities say Jungle Book all over them.
Yeah, so this movie I wanted to go see because I wanted to see what they did with a remake and what they did with all the CGI and the added visual effects for the movie. Plus, there was a lot of really cool actors. Actually, you know what the point I really wanted to see this movie? I believe I was on Reddit, and I was on their movies subreddit, and someone had posted all these pictures with the characters and the animated characters they would be playing. And the animated characters looked so realistic that I thought, wow, this looks pretty good. And there's a lot of really high-profile actors in this movie, so I can't be but so bad.
Yeah, so the movie is directed by, I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but Jon Favreau? Favreau? I don't know. But he was in Iron Man. So he's an actor and a director. So he did direct Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and has also produced a lot too. He's done a couple small things, and he did Zathura for all you people that love that movie. I'm sure everyone's raising their hands. Not. And he did some TV episodes. He did the episode of Office, the pilot of About a Boy. He did the movie Cowboys and Aliens, which was decent. Okay, so from his movies, you can see he's got this kind of goofy comedy, drama, action type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
He has experience in CGI too, and special effects.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's an all-around pretty great movie maker, I guess. And yeah, so one of the great things about this movie was that it had a great cast. So it had this person made the movie, Bill Murray.
Yeah. That sold it for me.
Yeah, hands down. It was great when he entered as Baloo.
If someone had asked me to put a perfect person in the form of Baloo, it would definitely be Bill Murray, being able to encapsulate everything that Baloo was in the original films.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have named him, but when it's Bill Murray, you're like, oh yeah, that is perfect. Yeah, because he did a great job.
Yeah.
And also, so this person I love and didn't know that he was in the movie until I started watching it was Christopher Walken. It plays King Louie. I was sitting there watching the movie, and King Louie comes on and he's talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's either another actor doing a perfect Walken impression, or that's Christopher Walken.
See, I'm not as big of a fan as Christopher Walken, and I didn't really care for his King Louie. That's probably where we're gonna differ here.
Yeah.
On a few things, but I didn't really care for his King Louie characterization.
Yeah. So yeah. So another actor who's in here that everyone will know is
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Yes, she played Ka, who is the giant snake.
Yeah, very brief.
Yeah. Now that's the one that I think they could have cast someone else. No offense, Scarlett, but
really, I would think Christopher Walken.
No, see the Scarlett Johansson, the Ka voice, it wasn't selling me. It was just very monotone, and
yeah,
that whole scene was very weird, and I didn't understand some
Maybe
of
it's the fact that I don't really care for Christopher Walken and some of the stuff he's played. Maybe
it probably is. You've just been shafted by him, and I'm telling you, go back and watch Batman Returns, and Yeah. Start there and work your way up.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Yeah, so they also had Idris Elba, which some of you may know from Beast of No Nation. He's also was in talks to play 007 at one time. I don't know if that's still going on. And he also played in the show The Office and his hit show, the UK show Luther, which most people probably know him from. But yeah, he played Shere Khan. I thought he did an awesome job. Very villainy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, to finally round it up with the big actors who you'll know, they also had Ben Kingsley, who played Bagheera.
And Lupita Nyong'o? Is that how you say her name?
Who?
Lupita Nyong'o? She played in
Oh, yeah.
12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, rock show. Yeah, I forgot about her. Yeah.
And Star Wars Episode 8.
Yep. Yeah, so she was also in it.
Oz.
And really the only actor who's really new up here is the little boy who I've never seen in anything. His name is Neil Sethi. Right?
Neil.
Neil. I'm going to call him Neil.
Yeah, Neil.
I'm sorry if you're hearing this podcast, Neil, and you're shaking your head that I just ruined your name. But yeah, Neil Sethi. I'm going to say
Neil did a great job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Awesome job. He's a young guy, born in 2003, which would make him what?
13.
13, yeah. Thank you.
Did he look 13 in the
No,
movie?
he was 12. He was born in December. Yeah. So he's 12 years old.
He didn't look 12 to me.
Yeah.
He looked like 8 or
Young.
9.
Well, depending on when it was filmed, he might have been 11. I don't know. But yeah, he's young, somewhere around 11 or 12. And really hasn't been in anything else big. He was like, played himself on a couple things, working up to, yeah, I'm not going to say that. Yeah, so this is his first movie, it looks like, and he did an amazing job. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the actors. And like we said, I gave it a 6. Peter gave it a 5. So for our Two Men Talking Movies rating, that's a total of 5.5, which is good. It's good. And don't take that as, oh, man, this movie was awful. It's because it's not. It was good. It was good. We'll get into that. We're going to get into some spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear any details about the movie and you're going to go see it and you don't want it ruined, this would be the time to turn the podcast off. But right before you do, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to plead with you. Please go to iTunes right now. It's take 5 minutes.
Unless you're driving and you're in the middle of traffic.
No, if you're driving, pull over. You can get to where you need to go later.
Joe, you're a madman.
This is important. This is a free way that you can really support us. It'll help us move up in iTunes, and people will see us better, and it'll get us out there more. And it's free for you to do. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll take you probably about 2 minutes of your time. So that's the only thing it will cost you is your time.
2 minutes, huh?
Yeah, it depends on how fast you are. So yeah, go to iTunes. Go to the podcast, search Two Men Talking Movies. If you've already subscribed, thank you. I heard some people had some trouble being able to rate us if they've subscribed. So you might have to unsubscribe and then resubscribe. But go to the ratings tab. So you have to do this. Go to the ratings tab and be sure to hit a star rating, 1 through 5, preferably 5. And then after you do that, go down and write a review. If you don't write a review, it won't show up as far as I know. And we want to honestly hear what you think about the show. So please write us a review, and that'll help other people when they're looking through for the best movie review podcast, that they'll be able to see ours. So please go do that. And thank you so much for those of you who have already done that. And so here we go, Peter, into the spoilers.
Into the jungle. Here we
Into
go.
the jungle. Let's open that book. That jungle book.
All right, so I think the opening scene was, if I remember correctly, and
Well, real quick, before we do this, I was thinking about how we did Batman vs. Superman review, and I listened to it, and I was thinking maybe we should break down the movie into the 3-act structure, which is first act, we go over the main characters and the beginning of the movie, relationships, kind of what the story is being set up as. And then we go into the second act, which refers to the protagonist's attempt to resolve whatever happened in the first act, and the turning point kind of the movie, and when he finds himself and all of that. And then the third act, which is the final act, is what we'll talk about, the resolution of whatever the plot is and whatever the character has to do. It's basically the climax of the film. And I think that's a great way to review it, to go by those.
Yeah, I'm game.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with that first act.
So they really set up masterfully and beautifully the jungle scene, and you really feel like you are on the inside of a jungle based on all the amazing special effects that they have.
Yeah. It was cool, but the very beginning was very nauseating. The whole like running sequence.
Yeah, I felt like it was an episode of Tarzan, if you remember the old Tarzan
Yeah.
and Jane.
Yeah, and this was, we talked about earlier when Jane asked about the CGI. So Jane, this was like one of the worst moments I thought of the CGI was the very opening scene, because it's the little boy Mowgli running through the woods, or the jungle, I'm sorry, with these little wolves, and it just looked weird. I don't know. It was like the frame rate or something, but it was kind of weird. But it fleshed out after that and started looking good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it looked great. It's just when you're introduced to Mowgli, you immediately realize that he's being raised by wolves. If you're familiar with Rudyard Kipling's work, it's a man cub being raised by wolves out in the jungle. And I think from a visual standpoint, it really set the tone for the rest of the movie, because you're just looking at these wolves and looking at the surroundings thinking, is any of this real? How much of this is real? And you kind of get lost in the visuals, which I think is what they were trying to do. So you're amazed that they're there, but they're so good, it kind of just bleeds into the rest of the film. You don't really think about it because of how good they are.
Yeah, it starts looking. It looks really good, and it fleshes out. And what it reminded me of too is, if anyone has seen the movie come out, probably it's been a while. It's probably come out about 10 years ago. But the movie Dinosaurs, did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the CGI.
Yeah,
You know, how
yeah,
it looked
yeah.
very realistic.
Yeah, very glary. You could see the glistening of the sun, and
Yeah, it was very nice looking, and so that it was similar to that type of CGI. You know, nothing like Star Wars Episode 1. Thank God. You know, I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, so it was awesome, and the characters they set up. You see Mowgli.
and he comes across his wolf pack, and you see his mama wolf and dada wolf.
Yeah, and he's basically you see it portrayed as that he is a sore thumb kind of to the community, and everyone, all the other animals around are kind of like, oh, there's that man cub.
Yeah.
You know, I feel so weird saying man cub. There's that man cub.
The man cub at the Peace Rock.
Yeah, the Peace Rock. Yeah, so as we go through this review, we're not making up this lingo. It's actual stuff in the movie.
Yeah, this is very real. All of this is real, but
Very-
unreal at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah. So the movie sets it up that the plot is basically there's a drought that's going on, and everyone has to gather to this watering area that's like you said, the Peace Rock. And the rule
The water comes down, and it reveals this rock, and everyone says, "Oh, it's the Peace Rock." And everyone's like, "Oh, well, you know what that means." No, what does that mean? And that's where everyone gets together, no matter if you're an alligator, or I'm sorry, crocodile or a rhinoceros or a wolf, you all come and drink at the water hole because of the Peace Rock.
Yeah, no killing. No,
Familiar with Lion King, a lot like the watering hole in Lion King, where Simba and Timon and Pumbaa go to the watering hole and everyone's drinking out of it and they're all dancing around. Kind of like that.
I told you, man, you just love these movies.
Can't get away
Yeah.
from Disney. They're ingrained in us.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really quick explanation of why you're not seeing these wolves slaughter the antelope that are drinking right beside them, and
Yeah, the wolves like to obey the law of
Yeah.
the jungle, which is
yeah, you hear them. You know, this is the jungle law. They're reciting it, and
blah blah blah. We live for the wolf pack. The wolf pack lives for each other.
Yeah. And yeah, so as they're at there's this whole scene where all the animals are gathered around the watering hole and the Peace Rock and Mowgli is using
I'm gonna get a Peace Rock necklace.
Yeah. The Peace Rock, man.
It's the Peace Rock.
Yeah.
How could you say something? It's the Peace Rock.
Yeah, so he does what they call tricks, where he makes like a little basket to scoop water up,
Yes, tricks.
and they say no tricks, because all the other animals basically they're trying to pass off the wolves are that Mowgli isn't a man.
I felt like it was a kind of a bit out of like Dora the Explorer, like where whenever the animals ask her about one of her tricks or something. Like,
maybe
Dora, what's
I
one of
don't
your
watch
tricks?
Dora the Explorer, so I can't.
Yeah, but it just felt very very childlike.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, oh,
I hear
no.
you. So this is where you see Shere Khan come into play, and he comes in and he basically says, I smell the man cub.
Yeah, the man cub.
Yeah, and
And everyone looks right at Mowgli, and Mowgli's hiding behind his dad.
yeah, a very awkward moment for Mowgli.
Especially the Peace Rock.
Yeah, the Peace Rock. Come on, man. You could have waited until everyone left. So yeah, Shere Khan basically makes a proclamation that Mowgli is unwanted, he's unwelcome, he doesn't need to be there, and that he is a man, not an animal, and that it was man who scarred Shere Khan's face with fire. And you get to see the scar.
Yeah, he's a little emotionally
Yeah, basically saying,
fatigued.
no, this kid's not going to stay here. And then he says, when I come back, if he's still here, I'm going to kill him. So this starts up a whole, this is what gets our story going. So what happens is you see Akela, who is basically the dad wolf, right?
I don't know.
The leader
I'm
wolf.
just calling him Dad Wolf and Mama
Yeah,
Wolf.
I'm going to keep it simple because it's confusing. And then Raksha, who is the mother wolf. So they're basically trying to decide, what are we going to do? We can't just send him off. But Mowgli hears him
He
arguing.
can't go to Wolf College.
Yeah, he can't. He's not going to become a wolf, so he's got to go somewhere, or else Shere Khan's going to come and kill him and possibly other animals.
Right. So they go up there and they're debating on not the Peace Rocks, probably like the
It's like the Lion King rock where you look over all the light touches is my kingdom. It's like looking over the the section, but yeah.
the debating rock.
Yeah, so Mowgli basically volunteers, hey guys, I need to leave. They're right. I don't belong here and I don't want anyone to get hurt and I'll be okay.
And all of a sudden, all the wolves forget all the wolf code at that point.
I know that went out the door.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Shere Khan
They were
gets
like,
involved.
he was like, unless you guys, they're like, no. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're
You
right.
do. Yeah, you do you.
Well,
Yeah.
Before I leave, should we recite the wolf code?
Yeah. So he goes and so the mother wolf Raksha, she's upset about it, and Bagheera volunteers and says, "Hey, I brought him to you guys. I'll take him back to the man village where he belongs, and it'll be okay." So this sets out our journey where we follow Mowgli and Bagheera to the man village.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is really when I thought the visuals started really looking awesome. When you see like the grassy plains and the wildebeest and all that, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And so as they're going, basically, Shere Khan catches on to, right?
No. So
No, he does.
No.
At first, then he goes back.
No. So yes, you're right. But yeah, Bagheera leads him through these plains, and Mowgli's spouting off like a little sarcastic brat, and it's like, "Oh, we got to bow to these wildebeest too," and so Bagheera says, "Wait, hold on a second, I smell something," and Mowgli's just rattling on like a little annoying little brat, and all of a sudden Shere Khan comes out of nowhere, and then one thing leads to another. Mowgli is
Mowgli.
Yeah, Mowgli. Mowgli is hatched onto a wildebeest rampage, and they are running through this old ravine, and he escapes the claws of Shere Khan.
Yeah.
Shere Khan feels pretty hurt by that and goes and takes it out on Dada Wolf.
Dada Wolf. Yeah, so Shakan goes back, and this is the scene. I guess who was that? Ben that emailed us this question. I think it was Ben. Ben, or I can't remember if it was Ben or no. Jake asked the other question. So yeah, Ben, when you asked about your kids going to see a movie, this is probably the scene that, kind of violent, but also kind of funny. but so Shakan goes back and he's like, acting all facetious and like, oh yeah, where's that man cub at? Man cub, and all, everyone's like, yeah, he's gone. We don't know where he went. He just left.
Yeah.
He's gone. Whatever.
But did you want to chime in on our wolf code with us while you're here?
Yeah, let's
Shere Khan?
recite the wolf code. And so Shakan all of a sudden like snaps and tosses Daddy Wolf over the mountainside.
Yeah, onto Peace Rock.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because it happened so weird. This was another part where the CGI looked really weird, where he like grabbed him and you just see this wolf go like flopping.
Yeah.
Like oh shoot, you just threw that guy off a cliff. And
My wife grabbed my arm at that moment because no one was expecting the Shere Khan outburst.
Yeah,
We knew he was crazy. We didn't know how crazy he was.
we didn't know he was this crazy.
So I was kind of halfway expecting Daddy Wolf to climb back up, but
Yeah, I did too. I was like, he just knocked him out, and
Right.
later we see a pile of bones, which I presume is him. Like, oh man, okay,
as
he
Peace
did
Rock's
die.
filling
Yeah,
back up.
yeah. New decorative ornament for Peace Rock. So Shere Khan says, "I'm gonna come back and kill somebody else, possibly one of your cubs." He says this to the mama wolf Raksha. If you guys don't tell me where Mowgli went. And so he leaves, and he comes back later, and
Meanwhile,
meanwhile,
Mowgli's farting around in the woods.
trying to discover himself.
Right. Yeah, he's like, maybe I want to go to this man village. I don't know where Bagheera is, but
Yeah. So Bagheera and him get separated through
he's
the.
feeding animals along the way.
Yeah.
Getting in trouble.
Yeah. What? All right. So this is when Scarlett Johansson comes in, and this whole scene was really weird. I thought it would be.
I thought Mowgli was tripping out on something.
Yeah. Oh, I was tripping out when I was watching. Well, not really. But when I was watching, I
But-
felt like I was, and it was weird. And like Scarlett Johansson, she's got that really soft-spoken voice. It was weird. I felt like
You were being seduced by a snake, weren't you?
yeah, it was really weird. And so basically the snake, I guess the power of
Because remember back in like
Ka-
the cartoon where he was hypnotizing
yeah,
people?
I got the hypnotizing part. I was
Okay.
like, okay, he's hypnotizing them, and you slowly start to see Ka coil around him. But the whole like flashback sequence thing, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
she
people
was-
were mad about Batman vs Superman flashbacks. I mean, this was like, how does a snake? So I guess she has the power of like the all-seeing eye.
She was
or-
telling him because she told him how he got into the woods.
but how
And
does she know that?
She was watching. She's a creeper.
but they
She
never
was just-
showed that before.
She was creeping.
But I mean, this was like
Shere Khan.
special hidden camera footage of the cave.
She was showing him her memories through her magical eyes.
How did she have that?
I can't explain these in-universe rules of.
Yeah, there's
Jungle Book.
basically no answer to this. So
Right.
it was really weird, and I didn't think it was executed well. But
Yeah,
whatever.
and then
This
our
is-
boy Billy comes in.
Yeah. So Bill Murray shows up, aka Baloo, and he tears himself up a snake, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know if it was exactly like that, but
Yeah.
something like that. And he figured he was doing this favor for Mowgli, and now he's got to get Mowgli to go get him some honey. And Mowgli is finally able to use his man tricks.
My
And,
man tricks, because I'm a man cub.
and so he got the honey for Baloo, and then he's farting around with Baloo while his old wolf pack is under the tyrannous rule of Shere Khan. And that's when Bagheera shows up, right?
Yeah, Bagheera kind of comes in on them. Basically, Baloo is using Mowgli to.
Yeah, I feel like
to get what he
Baloo's
wants.
like the homeless person, the annoying homeless person in the jungle, and Bagheera's like, oh no, not this guy. You hooked up with Baloo, and Baloo's like, what do you mean you hooked up with me? Yeah, of course he did. And Baloo says, you can go to the village or you can stay with me, but I'm going to let you know your man tricks. And so, of course, Mowgli chooses to stay with Baloo.
Yeah, so Baloo is a trickster. And yeah, you kind of see like the whole drama of that unfolding.
Yeah, and so Bagheera wants him to go to the man village, Baloo wants him to stay, and then finally Baloo has to, we've seen this a million times in a movie, tell the character something that they need to hear that they don't want to tell them.
Yeah.
And there's like forcing it, I don't want you here. And Mowgli runs up in a tree.
Which is when he gets taken by monkeys and carried off. This is a pretty funny scene. This whole movie, I know, like when we explain it, it sounds really goofy. And
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there are some goofy moments of it. But as a kid, I mean, when you look at it of what it is, it's a kid's movie. It's a family movie.
Right.
It's good, like
Right.
yeah, little kids are gonna love this.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Mowgli's bouncing up and down on Baloo's belly, floating down the river singing.
Which is, yeah, I don't understand. So the movie, like, you're an hour into the movie, and all of a sudden they throw in a random sing-along song. It was like awkwardly. Yeah, it was really weird. I wish they wouldn't have put that in there. I wish they would have just kept. Like, I was like, oh, this is a musical.
It's Disney.
No,
No, it's Disney. They gotta throw in their songs.
Yeah. So Mowgli gets taken to Christopher Walken,
King Louie.
also known as King Louie. Yeah,
I didn't realize he was so big. He's a big monkey.
yeah. I don't remember what the name of the monkey they called him.
I think he's orangutan.
No,
Orangutan?
he named something else.
What?
Yeah, he said like
A gorilla?
no his species. I forgot what it was, but I think they're legit. It's like a giant orangutan basically. But yeah, he was humongous, and
That was really cool.
did
His
his
character was
great
huge.
walking. Wait, Mowgli, I gotta tell you something. Yeah, it was a terrible walking impression.
Please don't do it again. I can barely take walking, much less your impression of him.
Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman? No.
No.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so awesome doing his walking as King Louie, and then he sings a song too,
That was that.
which was even worse because
I hated
no
that
offense,
song.
but Christopher Walken can't really sing.
Yeah, after that Peter Pan live action sequence with NBC or whoever it was, I'm like, if I could never hear Christopher Walken sing again, and guess what? He sings again.
He sings again. I think it's his new career.
I hope not. I mean, I don't
all
know
around triple threat, right?
Right, the
Yeah.
triple threat: sing, act, and dance.
Yeah.
And so, I guess he wants. Of course, he wants Mowgli to teach him how to be a man.
Yeah, I never caught this. So, in the animated movie, did they talk about fire as the
Yes.
red flower?
Yeah, the red flower.
I never caught that. Did you?
No.
As I'm watching it, and they keep talking about red flower, I was like, "What? Red flower?" And then he sings the song. He says, "Give me the power of man's red flower." I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but it was cool.
Yeah,
Not
and
the
then-
song, but
and
the
then
red flower.
Baloo and Bagheera scale a 1,000-foot summit to get there, and
They're
they help
bantering
save
the whole
day.
time, and yeah, it's funny. And so they saved the day, and I guess we see King Louie get smashed in a rubble of his stone kingdom on top of the mountain.
Yeah,
Which I don't see in the credits. He's like the credits. They show you like a nice little. It's an actual book open up, and the characters are dancing around on the book, and we see a page flip to the King Louie scene, and there's like a pile of rubble, and he bursts out of it and starts dancing around.
well, I think that's for the sequel, obviously.
Yeah, so I was like, is he dead or no?
Jungle Book 2.
But then Shere Khan popped up too, so I was like,
What?
Yeah, he popped up in the book sequence at the end too.
Good grief.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know if any of
I
these people.
thought he drowned under Peace Rock.
Even Daddy Wolf's skeleton was dancing at the end. No, I'm just joking. That didn't happen. But yeah, he died. I assume King
Yeah,
Louie.
if a house fell on me, I'd probably die. Or whatever that thing
Yeah,
was.
it was really creepy
Ruins.
too when he was chasing.
Yeah.
It was like getting chased by King Kong. He was really big.
And then Mowgli's immaturity takes over.
Yeah, I would say if you're worried about your kids being scared, that might be one of the only moments they're gonna be scared at is King Louie. I thought that was the scariest moment.
Yeah,
If any-
that and like Shere Khan snapping Dada Wolf's neck.
Yeah, throwing him off a cliff. Yeah.
That's not how we resolve conflict, children.
No, not at all. Yeah, and through all this moment, Baloo or Bagheera, one of them lets it slip that Daddy Wolf died.
Oh yeah, no one told Mowgli.
No one told Mowgli. They were keeping it from him. And so he finds out and runs off. And he's like, I'm going to fix this myself. Enough of running.
And he has this incredible idea of going to the village
Let me go to the man village,
that he's never been to.
sneak in and steal what everyone's been warning me about is the worst thing that men use, which is the red flower, also known as fire.
Fire.
Yeah. So he grabs like a torch and just starts running through the jungle.
And this is where they start resolving conflict, right?
Supposedly. So he causes a forest fire. Yeah. He's like dropping as he's running and
I'm
jumping.
sorry for our listeners that were laughing through this movie, but as we're talking it out, it just gets more ridiculous.
This was weird too. Did you notice how fast he got back to?
Yes.
I was like, you took like 3 days to get
He
to.
outruns a panther and a bear.
Yeah, he outruns a panther and a bear, and he gets back to the beginning
A
location.
black panther. This is supposed to be fast.
Yeah, he gets back to Peace Rock in like 10 minutes when it took him like 3 days to get away from it.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
I think he blazed his own trail.
I think he did. So yeah, the forest is on fire, and he's running through with a.
He doesn't care. Has no care in the world.
Yeah, he's trying to get back to prove.
They need to add
something.
that bit, the forest fire, to the wolf code.
Yeah,
We shall start no forest fires.
they probably did now. So he gets back, and Shere Khan's there, and he's like, "Yeah, I got you now, man, cub. I'm gonna tear you up." And Baloo and Bagheera come, and it's this whole standoff scene
By Peace Rock.
by Peace Rock.
Very popular spot. in
Now,
the jungle.
before in the movie too, there was a scene where Mowgli helps out a baby elephant who fell down into like this hole, and he uses his man tricks to pull him up with a rope.
And
he makes.
Bagheera and Baloo are shocked.
Yeah, they're like, "Whoa, no way!" And
In this universe, you have to bow down to elephants.
yeah, elephants are apparently the sacred gods of the jungle, and so
They created the jungle with their trunks.
yeah, they blazed the trails, not with fire this time, and so they're like the elders of the jungle. They're looked up to.
Yeah. I would call them elves. If this is Lord of the Rings, they're elves.
Yeah, they're the elves. And so they have a standoff at the end of the movie. And
It's basically Jungle v. Shere Khan.
yeah, it was cool. The whole he like so Mowgli again uses his man tricks, which they're always like, you're not a man, you're an animal, don't do that. And so he uses them and he defeats Shere Khan. They like climb up into this. It's like a network of trees or something. It's like it's some kind of weird tree, and it's got it's like funneled on the inside, and he goes up through the top. And basically, he creates like a swing that he jumps off of and he grabs, and Shere Khan instead falls and lands in the fiery hell that Mowgli created.
You had to burn down the forest to kill one tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Imagine all the
Sounds
little,
like a classic human endeavor.
yeah, way to go. So, and then at the end, the elephants come and save the day. They break open.
So the first conflict so for our viewers, the first conflict they resolve is killing Shere Khan,
yeah.
and
Mowgli finally realizes that he can be a man and an animal, if that makes sense.
yeah, he's a manimal.
Manimal. Yeah.
Manimal Mowgli. And then at the end, it starts raining, right? And instead of having Peace Rock fill up, the elephants and their wise, otherworldly wisdom divert the river to flood the forest.
Yeah, so now not only has Mowgli caused a forest fire, but now the elephants have destroyed what little water source.
How many wolves had to die during this?
How many animals? I mean, we talked about Batman versus Superman, the death toll. I mean, goodness.
How many animals either burned alive or on the edge of being burned alive, then just drown?
I mean,
It's the worst way.
Yeah, the location that this was based off of is now the Sahara Desert.
Right.
Yeah. It's Death Valley. I mean, so the elephants tear down. I guess there was like a dam built there, which
Well, they built their own dam.
Yeah.
while Mowgli and Shere Khan were doing their thing.
Right. Mowgli can't do man tricks and do any of that, but the animals apparently
Right,
can
that
make
would
a
have probably
dam.
been the better way to resolve the conflict. Is at the end, instead of the elephants doing it, Mowgli builds a dam and
He's
cuts
like, hey,
off the-
guys. But he says it like walking. Hey, guys. No more trouble with water are we going to have. Wait. My name is Mowgli.
That's not bad. Very nice.
Yeah. So, yeah. And the movie, I guess the movie just basically ends there. You know, Shere Khan's dead. The elephants use the dam to extinguish the fire because apparently that little water source was able to put out acres and acres of jungle forest.
Yeah. On a more serious note, all the conflict was definitely resolved, and
With a quick swipe.
yeah,
Very fast.
yeah, because we got it in the movie. It was a pretty short movie too, which I appreciate it.
I did too, because I wasn't, like we said, we weren't like engaged in this movie
Yeah.
like we
have
should have
bits,
been.
We have bits where we were, oh man, this is cool, and then kind
Yeah.
of disengaged.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And that, I mean, that's basically the end of the movie. And it was good, you know, go take your kids. Should you see it in theaters? I don't really think so.
Yeah, go watch it on your 4K television.
Yeah, unless see, we don't have an opinion on the 3D because we didn't watch it in 3D.
Right.
But there's definitely parts where I was like, oh, that would look awesome in 3D.
The director did do an AMA telling people how to best view the movie. An AMA on Reddit where he answered a lot of questions and helped people realize what the best standard was to view the movie. And
I'm
stuff,
sure he
so-
said piratebay.com.
Yeah, no. It would have been funny if someone pasted a link right there.
Yeah.
What do you think about this website and viewing it for your movie? No. So if you want to see it, if you want to take your kids, take them to go see it in either 3D or 2D, whatever you prefer. It's a good movie for children, and I'm sure your family will enjoy it.
Yeah, so overall score once again was a 5.5. That's our combined score. And then, you know, if you know a little bit about math, we average it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 5.5 out of 10. So good movie, not great, not terrible, just good. Your kids will probably love it. You'll probably think it's okay, but you're going to get a kick out of walking. You're going to hate Scarlett Johansson. And Bill Murray's going to make you laugh.
Yeah, Bill Murray was great.
And you're going to be like, wow, that was a pretty good looking movie. And so that wraps up our review of The Jungle Book 2016. So as we announced last week that we would be giving away a $20 movie gift card to any movie theater of your choice, whether it's AMC, which, you know, since we talked about their texting issues, you know, that's between you and them, though. I'm not going to judge. Or you could be Regal or even Cinemark or, you know, whatever else is out there. We'll get a $20 movie gift card of your choice, and we're going to give it to you for free, whoever we choose.
All right, so last week's winner for the $20 movie gift card is none other than
Me. No.
Michelle McCarthy.
Michelle McCarthy.
Thank you so much,
Congrats.
Michelle, for sharing our post. We hope that you continue to share our post in the future and try to win some of our other
Prizes. Gifts.
yeah.
Trinkets. Yeah, so congrats. And we will contact you and figure out which theater card you want of your choice. And we will get that to you. So thanks again, everybody who shared our post. And don't fret because you have another chance. This week, we are giving away something else. To celebrate the release of the Rogue One Star Wars trailer, we are giving away an awesome Star Wars Millennium Falcon shirt. Peter, why don't you tell us about that shirt?
Well, it's a black shirt. If you're familiar with blueprints, it's a white print actually, and looks like the runner before every Star Wars movie is printed around the Millennium Falcon. So it's a pretty cool looking shirt. Actually, I kind of want to win it myself, but we're giving it away to some of our avid listeners and avid fans.
Yeah, and the size is a large. So if you wear a small, put it in the washing machine on hot.
Yeah.
And if you wear double X, then give it to someone else.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
know, put it forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give forward.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everyone who listens, who shares our content.
Yes.
This is why we do what we do.
Yeah, and we like to reward people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. I mean, we love doing this and we love interacting with you guys. So we're going to tell you guys how you can win this shirt.
You can do it!
So yeah, there's actually 2 ways that you guys can enter to win the shirt this week. The first is your familiar share the post. So when the post goes up on Facebook about the corresponding episode, you'll see all the information right there. You just go down there and hit share, and you don't have to write anything. You can just hit share now and share it on your feed, and that helps our podcast get seen by your friends and people that come across your page. And so it really helps our outreach. So that's one way that you can enter to win. The second way, you can double your chances, right? Why not double up? Is go to iTunes, go and find our podcast, 2 Men Talking Movies, and click on the tab Rate and Review, and give us a rating out of 1 through 5 stars, and give us a review, and then hit submit. And you can enter that way too. So that's 2 chances you have at winning this awesome shirt. And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Wow. Odds in your favor. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So thank you again. I'm Joe Reel.
And I'm Peter Gill.
And you just listened to 2 Men Talking Movies. Later.
Peace out.
2 Men Talking
Movies.
To the mic.
What?
You're breathing, you're like... Yeah.